Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
It goes back to Barkley. Barkley breaks the tackle. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He is at the 25-yard line. He is down at the 25-yard line. He has just broken the 2,000-yard rushing mark. Saquon Barkley goes into NFL history.
The way I look at it, if it's in God's plan, then it is. If I'm not, overly trying to go get it. I'm not scared of it. Like I would love to, but at the end of the day, also we got bigger things that we're focusing on, and we're able to clinch the division right here. Whether it's we play next week or not and rest, I'm fine with that too, because I didn't come here and sign here just to, rush for 2,000 or break a record. I want to do something special, and meaning special with the team.
You just heard Merrill Reese here on 97.3 ESPN calling the play where Saquon Barkley ran for 27 yards and becomes the 9th running back in NFL history for 2,000 yards. And then Saquon talking about, it's God's plan. It's not my plan. I don't know what's in store for me. Josh Hennig here, back from a busy football weekend here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Before we get to your guys' texts at 609-403-0973, your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And, of course, 30 minutes from now, we'll talk with Andy McNamara about the NFL as a whole. I kind of want to give you guys some of my reactions from kind of consuming the day. Because, first of all, we, as expected, Nick Sirianni didn't say much of anything last night or today about the Eagles' plans for Week 18. But here's what we do know about Week 18. Week 18 doesn't matter in the standings anymore. Yesterday was a fascinating football day because you're watching the Eagles play a rival that I think Eagle fans hate more than even the Eagles do. Although those skirmishes in the middle of the game probably said a little bit differently. This Philadelphia Eagles team is right now a Saquon Barkley team. And it's not a negative against Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, or whoever. But at the end of the day, the reason why Philadelphia is where they are right now is because of Saquon Barkley. The addition of Saquon Barkley is going to go down as one of the most important free agent moves in franchise history. And it was a move, I remind you, that was heavily ridiculed. You go back to March when the Eagles gave him that contract. And I remember all the conversations here on 97.3 ESPN, all the other platforms out there, the television, the radio, podcasts, Twitch streams, X streams, whatever platform you're consuming. People were all saying, why do you need Saquon Barkley? You've already had multiple 1,000-yard rushers. Is it really worth spending all this money on a running back? Saquon has proven that he is more than just a running back. Saquon Barkley has proven that he is a force of nature. I think that is really what is important to all this. And at the end of the day, he is the reason why, if you make a deep playoff run, it's going to be on his legs. And this is not a negative against anyone else. But at the end of the day, the whole team has made a complete metamorphosis from being an organization that is built around the receivers and the quarterback and the offensive-minded coaching staff to a team that had one of the worst defenses in football last year to one of the best this year, to a team that had a solid but not great running attack to arguably being the second best running team in the NFL, right behind the Baltimore Ravens. And they are a team that has now shown that it doesn't matter. And I thought this was a great point by Jeff Mosher earlier on the Sports Bash when he talked with Ryan Rothstein, Nick Earnshaw, and Pete G earlier on 97.3 ESPN. Mosher brought up the point where he said, this Eagles team can score on anyone. Doesn't matter who the defense is. And it's amazing that we've gotten to that point. Because with all of the conversation, I'll call it, all of the horse manure about Sirianni and Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts and all this stuff, you saw yesterday the reason why all of it doesn't matter. Because when the Eagles started the game throwing the ball again and again and again, I'm standing there at Doyle's Poorhouse at Tuckerton for our Eagles watch party, and I'm literally just saying out loud, why are you not running the ball? The moment they started running the ball again, Philadelphia's offense started rolling. The moment they started putting the ball back in Saquon's hands and stop asking the quarterback to save them, this team started getting back on track. And it is no small thing. When you are the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to stop outthinking the room. You got to stop trying to play pretty. You got to stop trying to make something work that's not working. I thought the Eagles opened the game with the dumbest game plan in the world. Let's ask Kenny Pickett to throw it 6 straight times. Stupid. Absolutely dumb. But I guess we'll have to give them credit for correcting. We have to give them credit for saying, well, that ain't working. We got to try something else. Let's go back to over-reliable. Let's go back to that running back who's been in the MVP conversation the entire year. And even though Saquon Barkley will not win the MVP because of guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, he is in the conversation nonetheless. And for Philadelphia, that man is the reason why, at least a big reason why you're in the position you are. Now, obviously as well, the offensive line deserves a ton of credit. Jeff Stoutland, what he has done with Jordan Mailata, Mekhi Becton, and Cam Jurgens over the last couple years is nothing short of incredible. And if there was ever a conversation to be had about a non-head coach being in a Hall of Fame, I think he is in it, because Jordan Mailata never played football in his life before he got to the Eagles. Cam Jurgens played center 1 year of his life before the Eagles drafted him. Mekhi Becton never played guard before they kicked him inside. And he has turned this crew into an elite offensive line. And I would also bring up the Lane Johnson factor. Because the reason why Lane Johnson is considered a future Hall of Famer is because of Jeff Stoutland. You know, when Lane first got here, when Jason Kelsey first got to Philadelphia, it was Howard Mudd was one of the offensive line coaches. And nothing against Howard Mudd, but Mudd was a less evolved thinker when it came to coaching the offensive line. I would argue that the best thing that ever happened to Lane Johnson, and I've heard him mention about this in some interviews before, is when he got popped for the PEDs back in 2016. Because it forced him to change a lot of things in his life. But one of the things he changed was his workout habits and his training habits. And you could argue that the best years of Lane Johnson's career were when he was not taking any PEDs. It was 2017 to now. And who was the coach for him all of those years? It was Jeff Stoutland. So for me, if you want to give Stoutland credit, you can. But I think Barkley is going to be an essential element to your postseason run. Bottom line, end of the day, and not because Stone Cold said so, but because I have two eyeballs, and so do you, listening on 97.3 ESPN. And we'll get to the text in just a little bit, 609-403-0973, your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. One other point I want to make about the game yesterday. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has elevated his game in the last couple months. You know, one of the conversations we have had about this Eagles defense is the fact that there hasn't really been a star on this defense. You know, a lot of times when you look at some of the great defenses in football history, there's usually a guy or a couple of guys who are like the centerpiece studs, right? In 2017, it was Fletcher Cox and Malcolm Jenkins. They were like the faces of that defense. You go back to all the great defenses who have won championships. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs got Chris Jones, right? You know, back in the years when the Ravens were winning championships, it was Ray Lewis and then later Terrell Suggs. You go to those Patriot teams. You know, the first three, they had a bunch of studs on defense. Richard Seymour and Teddy Bruschi and Ty Law at the cornerback position. Later, Rodney Harrison playing safety. All great defenses usually have a guy, a dude. We learned last week that C.J. Gardner-Johnson is way more important to this defense than we ever gave him credit for. And I give that man a ton of credit because he didn't just go out there and have 2 interceptions. But you could argue that he was the tone setter when this happened early in the game when he got that first of his 2 interceptions. Merrill Reese on the call here on 97.3 ESPN yesterday.
Rush is back. Here comes the rush. He fires, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted. Running with the football is Gardner-Johnson. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Eagles on a pick 6.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson, with those 2 interceptions yesterday, showed you that he is one of the faces of this defense. And while Zach Baun is going to be the guy that gets all the all-pro conversations when it comes to a lot of those Associated Press voting circles and those Pro Football Writers of America voting ballots, C.J. Gardner-Johnson has shown in the last 2 weeks that he may be the most important. And as Chris Long said on the Greenlight podcast, the Eagles defense, what they are doing right here, right now, is exactly what they need going into the postseason.
They were taking the football off guys all day. To have a defense, turnovers kind of come in bunches like sacks, you know, like they really do. And when a team's in the middle of one of these turnover frenzies, you'd rather it be right now than like week 5 and then, you know, dissipates. They're taking the ball off people. They had 5 last week.
It's such a great point because Chris Long would know, because his 2017 Eagles, the defense got them to the Super Bowl. It gets forgotten so much because of how Nick Foles played in the biggest game of the year that the 2 games leading up to it, it was the Eagles defense that locked it down. They had to stop a high-powered Falcons offense to the very end of the game, did the Eagles defense. In the first round they played, in the divisional round. In the championship game, it was Patrick Robinson and company who got turnovers and sacks and completely demoralized the Vikings. And you could, if you go back and watch that Eagles-Vikings game, you realize the second half of that game was cruise control. Kind of like the 49ers game a couple years ago. So if the defense now is getting the turnovers, they're now getting in that rhythm of, I feel bad for Quinyon Mitchell because the one interception by CJ was that could have been his, but I digress. It's the idea that the defense is playing well and Saquon is playing well. Maybe that is the reason why you make a deep playoff run, and it makes you less worried when it comes to the what-ifs. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and so on and so forth. George from Summers Point. We'll get to your text and more on the other side. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And coming up in about 20 minutes from now, Andy McNamara joins us to get more into the NFL and the Eagles. All right here on 97.3 ESPN.
The Eagles finished the 2024 regular season this Sunday, hosting their NFC East rivals, the New York Giants.
It's intercepted. Running with the football is Gardner Johnson. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Eagles on a pick six.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
If you're currently stuck in a loan or lease, AJ the Trade Man can get you released. MattBlattNissan.com. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-Week Challenge. The Metamucil 2-Week Challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 Fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at Metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Sub sandwiches? Forget it. Salad? No way. Brand new Kias are less than lunch. Under $5 a day. $5. Now at RK. RK Kia of Vineland. Lease new Kia K4, K5, and Sorrentos. All three under $5 a day. Now at RK Kia. Lease new 25 Kia K4, LXS, K5 LXS, even Sorrento LX with third row seating. All three under $5 a day. $5. And when everyone is offering 0 for 48 months, we've got it for 60. That's 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Brand new Kias under $5 a day during the Season of New Tradition sales event. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings plus special financing. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Happy Honda Days are here at Boardwalk Honda. With over 200 new Hondas in stock and more arriving daily, it's the perfect time to find your next car. Right now, enjoy huge savings off MSRP on select models and enjoy interest rates as low as 0.9% APR. Financing for up to 60 months on the new 2024 Honda Prologue. But don't wait, Happy Honda Days won't last forever. Don't miss out. Stop by today or visit them online at HondaBoardwalk.com. That's HondaBoardwalk.com.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NBA, the Sixers are in Portland tonight as they take on the Trailblazers. Philadelphia's won 7 of 9 in 3 straight after they beat the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City Saturday, 114-111, getting 32 points from Joel Embiid. Tonight will be the third game of their 6-game road trip. The Philadelphia Flyers also are out west. Sunday, they lost to the LA Kings 5-4. Tyson Forster scoring his 10th goal of the season in the loss as the Kings put up 2 goals in the third period to pull away. The Flyers road trip will continue Tuesday in San Jose against the Sharks. NFL Eagles with a 41-7 win over Dallas, improving to 13-3. Saquon Barkley rushing for over 2,000 yards this season. He had 167 on 31 carries against the Cowboys. Kenny Pickett threw for a touchdown and ran for another in the Eagles' win. Progressive Insurance, bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. Over the past 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star and give the ultimate Christmas gift. The star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333 to give the brightest gift. That's 800-282-3333.
Good afternoon with your South Jersey weather forecast. I'm Joe Kelly. It's been a pretty nice, mild day across South Jersey, especially for this time of the year. As we head into night tonight, we'll see clear sky with a low of 35. Tomorrow, we're going to start out with some sunshine in the morning, but some clouds will give way to some showers and maybe even thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. As we ring in the new year tomorrow night about midnight, there's a chance of some thunderstorms. And the outlook for New Year's Day, partly sunny, windy with a high of 50. That's your weather. I'm Joe Kelly.
Healthier starts here with Get Covered New Jersey. Open enrollment is happening now. If you need health insurance, get quality, affordable coverage with plan options that fit your life and your budget. 9 in 10 get financial help, and many pay $10 a month or less. All plans provide free preventive care, coverage for prescriptions, emergency services, and more. Enroll by December 31st for January 1st coverage at getcovered.nj.gov.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Inevitably, somebody's going to be upset I'm saying this, but the record. I know the record is important. Like, I know it's important. It's important to Saquon. It's important to the group. It's important to the guys up front. I'm not saying it like, hey, the record is nothing. The record's a big deal. But you know what I'm going to say next. Just be careful. And some people are going to call me a party pooper. But, like, the guy, stubs his toe in the second quarter next week, and it's like, what are we doing?
That's Chris Long for the Greenlight Podcast. Is that a fair assessment of Saquon Barkley? It was Lane Johnson said after the game, hey, our goal was to get him 2,000 yards. Lane didn't say the goal was to get him the record, the Eric Dickerson record, the all-time rushing record. Get your text now, 609-403-0973, where George, to Summers Point, chimes in and says, hey, Josh, I agree with you. The Eagles will go as far as Saquon takes them. How he goes, so goes the entire offense, which is why I would not play him at all against the Giants. That's from George in Summers Point. George, it's a fascinating back and forth because I think there's an argument to be made for both sides, and I'm not going to be the person to sit here and say that it should be one or the other. I will tell you that I think there's two perspectives to take here, one on each side. I think the perspective on the one side is I've heard now from guys like Chris Long, because he talked more about this on his podcast. I've heard from Booger McFarland, who's won 2 Super Bowl championships. I've heard this from Maurice Jones-Drew, the former running back who played for the Jags and for the Raiders. I've heard this now from a bunch of players over the last 36 hours. Not playing is not always the answer. You don't want to not play a guy at all because for a team that has had so much trouble at ramping up at the start of games, this is the slowest starting offense in the entire NFL. Listen, the Eagles were the last team in the NFL to score a touchdown in the first quarter of a game. That means every team that you're going to see drafting in the top 10 of the NFL draft this year all had better first quarter offenses than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles' strength this year has been basically being a defensive fighter. If you've ever watched boxing or MMA, it's a fighter kind of like the first round, they kind of feel their opponent out, figure out the range, try to read what the opponent's doing, and then they turn around and start just blasting you. Do we really want an Eagles team that has been slow out of the gates offensively all year to be even slower potentially coming out of the gates? Remember, after the bye week against the Browns, you remember how horrible the Eagles offense looked against a average Browns defense, we'll call it? Maybe above average at the time because they were more healthy then than they are now. I mean, if you're Philadelphia, you need to have these guys get some reps on Sunday. But I do understand the other side of the equation. The idea that you don't want your guys, your main guys on the field in a precarious situation playing meaningless snaps against players who are competing for jobs. Remember, the reason why in the NFL guys still compete so hard, even though their teams are losing and teams like the Giants and the Raiders are ruining their chances at the number 1 overall pick yesterday, is because these guys are fighting for jobs. That Giants game, if this was any other sport, those guys would have been lollygagging it. They would have been you-know-what in it. But instead, you had guys like Drew Lock, you had guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, you had all of these guys for the Giants going out there, and that team put up 40-plus points. They haven't scored 40-plus points all year, but they did against the Colts because those guys are fighting for their football lives after this year. Guys who show up at the end of a year and play hard are the guys who stick in this league more often than not. And so that's why you don't want the Eagles players on the field against the Giants for too long. Because when it gets into the second and the third and the fourth, you're going to be having second and third string players who are trying to go out there and make a name for themselves. You don't want your main guys to fall victim to that situation. And that's why I say, George, to Summer's point, I hear what you're saying. I don't think you're wrong about you don't want him out there in those situations. But listen, I still want the offense out there. Because, again, I think back to the Browns game. I think back to the entire season. This is a team that has started slow way too many times. Remember, they had all that extra time from the Friday night game in Brazil to Monday Night Football. And you could argue those 10 days probably hurt them more than anything else. And, there's a reason, and I don't know if that's the reason why, but there's a reason why this team has not run the offense as well as they did in some of the weeks this year. There's a reason why the Steelers game, the Rams game, and the Packers game are frankly standalone games. And you can use the Washington Thursday night game as well. I'll throw that in that conversation as well. The reason why those are standalone games is because this team takes so long to get in the rhythm. It takes them so long to get going. It just makes you wonder, how much is too much rest? We'll ask Andy McNamara coming up on the other side. Joining me, Josh Hennig, here on 97.3 ESPN Live in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios of Atlantic City.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One. Week 17 of Monday Night Football will come from Santa Clara with the 49ers hosting the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff and the Lions set a franchise record for wins last week by moving to 13-2. Now they're focused on securing their second straight division title and the top seed in the NFC playoffs. Don't miss any of the action on Monday Night Football.
On 97.3 ESPN. Brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to book today.
Your luxury BMW experience is closer than you think at BMW of Atlantic City. Lease the BMW X1 xDrive 28i for $519 a month, or the 2025 BMW X5 xDrive 50e for $919 a month, both for 39 months during the BMW Road Home Sales Event, now through January 2nd. This week only, get an additional $1,000 off and no payments for up to 90 days on the purchase of any in-stock new or pre-owned vehicle. Visit BMW of Atlantic City in EHT or shop online at bmwatlanticcity.com. See dealer for details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Hey, you've definitely had a busy month. Finding gifts, sending cards, hosting family. Well, now it's time to treat yourself at Macy's After Christmas Sale. Come and find great deals on something just for you. Like 25% off New Year's party looks from DKNY, Adriana Papel, and more. So enjoy the week and get yourself the gifts you really wanted before these limited time deals are over. At Macy's After Christmas Sale. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Sub sandwiches? Forget it. Salad? No way. Brand new Kias are less than lunch. Under $5 a day. $5. Now at RK. RK Kia of Vineland. Lease new Kia K4, K5, and Sorrentos. All 3 under $5 a day. Now at RK Kia. Lease new 25 Kia K4 LXS, K5 LXS, even Sorrento LX with 3rd row seating. All 3 under $5 a day. $5. And when everyone is offering 0 for 48 months, we've got it for 60. That's 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Brand new Kias under $5 a day during the Season of New Tradition sales event. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The last thing I remember, I was outside Chicky and Pete's.
Of course, George. Chicky and Pete's is Philadelphia's most decorated and award-winning restaurant.
I give each of the kids a Chicky and Pete's gift card. It's the gift that always fits.
It's almost as good as getting your wings.
Yeah, that's right, Clarence. You can get your wings at Chicky's, and crab fries and lobster pizza and a hot beef sandwich.
You see, George, it really is a wonderful place, this Chicky and Pete's.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's with a holiday reminder about the gift that always fits and always gets returned. Our Chicky and Pete's gift cards. Buy online and we'll ship them right to your home or office. Need them right now? Go to chickyandpete's.com and we'll send them right to your email. Or you can always come see us at all locations and pick up your gift cards. It's the gift that always fits, yet always gets returned. Chicky and Pete's gift cards. Happy holidays from Chickies and Pete's.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
And that's the problem. We get in this thing where we're trying to give Saquon the record. What's the most important thing? Him healthy and Jalen looking in sync going into playoffs. Because you do not want to yank him in the first quarter on a pitch count and have the guy looking like because he's rusty or because he just doesn't have his best day. I want to see him in sync. If Saquon gets the record along the way, great, but pull that quadzilla out of the damn game.
That's Chris Long on the Greenlight Podcast. Does Andy McNamara, the host of the Sick Podcast, agree? Do the Eagles need to find at least some rhythm before the start of the postseason? Andy McNamara is back here. By the way, it's also the final edition of Game Night for 2024 here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, welcome in, my friend. How you doing?
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, my buddy. How are you? Good?
I'm doing good. So what do you think? Do you agree with Chris Long that the Eagles need to get in some rhythm before the postseason?
I do, and it's always tricky, right? Because you've seen in the past where teams play it ultra safe and you get that extra week off, and then you're out of rhythm, and in a single elimination tournament like the NFL playoffs, you're out of sync for a game and it's over. You're done. So I do think that's important. And also, while of course everyone has to say, and I'm sure Saquon would say the same thing, no, it's about the team and Super Bowl, which of course it is. This is a extremely rare record, this single season rushing record. Like, this is like the unicorn of records. Like, it does not come along very often, the opportunity to even sniff at it. So, is there a risk that Saquon could get hurt? Of course, stepping on the football field. Absolutely. I think the benefit has to be, all right, get in sync. That's what's most important. But also, let's try to get the guy the damn record. Like, I just think it's that special and important. And it's something really that the whole team can take pride in, right? It's not just Saquon. It can be the offensive line, like everybody can take pride in it and enjoy it. I think it's too special to give up.
Yeah, we heard from A.J. Brown and Jordan Mailata talk about after the game that they would love to be a part of that history, right? They would love to be like other kids and grandkids. Yeah. I played with that guy, There's a little bit of, the guys in the locker room being like, I want to tell my grandkids about this.
I blocked for them, whatever.
Right, exactly. But there is something to the fact that I think the biggest reason why they need to play, and by the way, I would treat it like a preseason game. That's my working theory. I've come to is that, like, play the guys for a quarter or two and then take them all out. Because what happens in the second half of these games, guys are playing for jobs, right? You get these guys who are the second and third string, and the Giants, they're not going anywhere. But they played tough yesterday. They beat the Colts. They took the Colts out of the postseason, Andy. And it's like, that's because these guys are playing for jobs.
Yes.
And I think the other reason why I want to take them out, get them out of the first half, done. Get your reps in, get out. The other thing is, Andy, you're a Browns guy. You saw firsthand what the Eagles look like with an entire week off.
Yeah.
Their offense did nothing for almost an entire half. And it's like, you saw the Eagles, by the way, 10 days from Brazil, the Monday Night Football, did nothing in the first half of the game. They are the last team in the NFL to score a touchdown in the first quarter of a game this season.
That's
okay?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we really want the Eagles to take an entire week off and have no rhythm going into, argue, the most important game of the season?
Man, it's like, just thinking of it without the facts that you mentioned, I would still say, yeah, like, you got to give them some rest. But with seeing the stats, with seeing the pattern that has gone down this year, you almost have to. Now, the question is, the Eagles being a very analytics-based team, like the Browns, except they seem to do it correctly.
They do it wrong.
They do it correctly. The Eagles do it correctly. The Browns do it. What does the analytics say? The analytics told the Browns this year, don't be playing people in preseason, this, and they've sucked all year. Now, they probably would have stunk anyway. But the thing, because of Deshaun Watson. But the thing is, what do all those little X factors do? And I'm with you. Get that first half in, because this is what also people seem to forget. When they're like, oh, so-and-so, this team's going to tank and tank for this person, tank for that. The players don't tank. Because the players, if you tank the better draft pick, they're going to draft someone to replace you because you were on a bad team. They will replace you. So the players are always going to play hard because they need their jobs. They are like Drew Lock just put some great tape on. Drew Lock probably got himself a backup job next year, right? And the coaches are of the same mindset. Now they work with the front office and you have to get on the same page, but their initial instinct typically, historically, is I am playing a football game. I am coaching a football game and players to win. So the fact that fans want to tank, maybe the front office and ownership want to tank, the players don't tank. So to your point, yeah, get him in the half. Hopefully you can ramp up Saquon, because how juicy would that be? Break the record against the Giants. Like, Josh, are you seeing these old Hard Knock clips pop up with the Giants GM who just looks like a total jackhole? It's tremendous. It has to happen. I just want it to happen because what a farce that organization has become.
I will say, and Andy McNamara joining us here on 97.3 ESPN at AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform. You know, I will say the fact that if Saquon breaks the record, he will do it in less rush attempts to Eric Dickerson does have a lot of significance.
Oh.
You know, because right now he's 34 rush attempts behind Eric Dickerson right now.
And what's the yardage? How many yards does he need?
He needs 101.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, you're not going to let him get 101? Stop.
Well, but I mean, that's
I thought
why.
It was more for some reason.
But you just said it. You were like, hey, these guys are playing hard. These guys are playing for jobs. Like, you don't want to keep trucking them out there 20 times. You know?
Okay, if it was like 150, 200, 101, come on. You got to let him get it. Oh, you have to. Yeah, at 101, you got to, man. That's a gimme. Come on. I don't care.
Remember,
you got to get it.
But also remember, if anyone who watched the game yesterday, he got to 2003, and they yanked him right out of the game. I mean, they were like, you got to 2003, you are done for the day.
Done for the day. So you know what? Let him get 102, and then pull him. Hand him the ball.
But again, they start out. Andy, they threw the ball 6 times to start the game yesterday. You got a backup quarterback in there. You got the best running back on the planet right now. And you're like, we're going to throw the ball. Like, it's just, this team is like, Andy, I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling the audience here on 97.3 ESPN, and I've said it multiple times, if the Eagles don't reach the Super Bowl, it is going to be their own fault. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Because you look at a team, Andy, they went from the worst defense of football last year to the best this year. They went from having a solid to good running game to having a 2,000-yard rusher. They went from having an offense that was a passing offense that was good last year to much more efficient, to the point where you went to the third-string quarterback yesterday because doggone Kenny Pickett broke his ribs again yesterday. And Tanner McKee throws 2 touchdown passes, and now Eagle fans talk about how he's a god because he's the only quarterback, Andy, since 1936, Tanner McKee is the only quarterback in NFL history to throw 2 touchdown passes in 5 or fewer attempts.
What? Really? So is that his Al Bundy moment? His 4 touchdowns in one game? That's Tanner McKee's 2 touchdowns in less than 5 attempts?
The Eagles literally said after the game, the secret is out about Tanner McKee. That's what Jordan Mailata told the media.
I'm just looking because I know 0 about Tanner McKee. 6'6", 231. What's 2023 draft pick? Okay. Yeah, maybe they'll trade him.
Well, that's what
I'll take him. I'll take him in Cleveland.
Let me pull up my note. Okay, I sent this to the guys who were filling in on the afternoon show today. Okay, because I worked as the producer for that show today, and let me pull it up for you.
Okay.
Just let me scroll up in the notes.
Went to Stanford. Okay.
Remember, the Eagles traded A.J. Feely for a 3rd-round pick, Kevin Cobb for a 2nd-round pick, and Carson Wentz for 2nd and 3rd-round pick swaps. Could Tanner McKee be the next quarterback traded for picks?
That would be okay. If they do, this is the Matt Flynn moment, right? The teams learn. This is the Matt Flynn.
Yes.
Because look, Cobb and the Feely and the Wentz and all that had a larger body of work. They did stuff. Like Tanner McKee, that's cool. That's a nice little trivia question. One game, nice. Matt Flynn made how many millions before Russell?
Also, Charlie Whitehurst. Remember that?
Oh, is that Clipboard Jesus?
Yes.
Yes. He was a third stringer on the Browns. Yes. For like 2 games.
But before that, he had that one game with the Chargers. And that's how he ended up going to Seattle first.
Oh, in our next lives, can we pray to be a backup NFL quarterback, like a third stringer?
We need to be a backup quarterback who has one game.
I love even not necessarily, because you hear some of these guys. Remember Trash Can Tanny, Alex Tanny, the guy, the YouTube star? That guy, he played. He didn't even have a good moment, and he still made $10 million.
I know. But I want my one moment. I want my one moment where I can be like, I can literally live off of my one game.
You can have the one game.
It's like in baseball, Mark Whitten. Nobody remembers Mark Whitten except for the fact he had 4 home runs in a game.
Mark Whitten, I think he played for the Blue Jays.
I think he did for a hot minute. Yeah.
I think he did. Oh my God, I'm old. That's like early 90s. Holy cow.
Mid to late 90s, yeah.
How did I pull Mark Whitten for the Blue Jays out of my rear end? Are you kidding me? Holy cow. Guys. I couldn't name you more than 3 Blue Jays today. I can name you the whole starting roster of the 92-93 World Series team. Tell you that.
I
do that right now
too. We could probably alternate that. Okay, don't let us go to sports trivia.
No, I was at that 93 World Series, by the way.
Were you
against the
really?
Phillies. I was there. I was 12 years old with my dad, section 524B, when Joe Carter hit the home run right behind home plate in the 500. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Phenomenal. I'll never forget it. Best sport. Day I die, that'll be with my family and that Joe Carter hitting a home run.
So in this area, just to let you know, here in the Philadelphia area, the conversation about that game is actually a lot of Philly fans feel like they should never brought Mitch Williams into that game because of the fact that Carter had played against him so well, and there were accusations at the time that Fregosi took a little bit of a you-know-what to let Mitchie Poo go on the mound in that game. Ooh. Now, that was never proven. It was never proven. But, there are still Philly fans this day who curse the name of Jim Fregosi because of that. It's
Wild Thing.
They don't blame Wild Thing. They don't blame Carter. In Philadelphia, they blame the manager, Andy. That's the mentality of the Philly sports fan.
I remember, though, I believe, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but what I had heard after is Mitch Williams was getting like death threats. Like he had to sleep with a gun under his pillow.
Well, that was initially.
They blamed him for a bit.
But then there was a story that came out in the offseason.
And then Fregosi got the heat.
And Fregosi got the heat, and he basically got ran out of town, basically.
Wow.
And to this day, Mitch Williams is not nowhere hated as much as Fregosi is.
That's fair. Look, Joe Carter's a borderline Hall of Famer, and he hit a home run to win the World Series. Hello, that's going to happen. You're a relief pitcher. What do you want? Come on.
All right, back to football.
Oh yeah, right.
All right,
so no more 93 World Series talk.
Coming up on another edition of the Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, Josh and Andy will rattle off the Blue Jays roster. Coming up next.
Give the people what they want. 93 Series talk.
It's like a podcast. Like, do you remember? That could be our podcast.
Ooh, okay. I can't remember anything now. I can remember old stuff. That'd be great.
Well, that's the point. It'll be anything from 85 to 2005.
It'd be wrestling and early 90s Blue Jays and Maple Leafs.
Well, man, it's like that 20, 30 year period where all we had were sports.
Yeah.
Going on our lives. Now it's like you got kids, I got 20 things to do at my job.
Oh my God! Back to Tanner McKee making $10 million next year, right?
He'll probably get traded for draft picks.
You know what, Josh? I'd take him over Deshaun Watson. I'd take him 6'6", 231. Let's do it.
That's the question. Are the Browns a team that would call the Eagles and be like, "Yeah, we'll give you a 3rd round pick for Tanner McKee"?
Look, the Browns are the stupidest smart people that I know, because they have all these Ivy League guys can write a nice paper for you, a thesis, I'm sure. But they're stupid as anything when it comes to football. But they do have a relationship with the Eagles, of course, right?
Yep.
So, now here's the thing. Nobody, not an insider, nobody I know on the inside, outside, whatever, has any clue what is going to happen, except for the hot rumor that everybody of note is coming back. Now, you'll probably get rid of a Ken Dorsey, perhaps, or somebody's got to be moved out.
Some will be the sacrificial lamb.
But what I'm hearing, Josh, is if this actually goes down and you do not fire Andrew Berry and you do not fire Kevin Stefanski, then that is the signal from owner Jimmy Haslam admitting without saying what I thought all along. And that is, it was his decision to make the worst trade and contract signing in NFL history with Deshaun Watson. And to his credit, it doesn't help the fans at all. But to his credit, he's not throwing his guys under the bus then. Lots of owners would, right? He's saying if he doesn't fire anyone, what he's saying is, hey, I made that call. It's a debacle. I'm going to let you try to work out of my mess. That's how I see it.
You know, what I would love to see, honestly, and I have a couple other football questions before I let you go, but I do got to bring this up. I know that Jameis Winston, his voidable years become final, the final day of the 2024 calendar football year. So, could the Eagles trade Tanner McKee to the Browns for the rights to Jameis Winston and a draft pick, and then we sign Jameis to be the backup quarterback, and then trade Pickett somewhere else for draft picks?
Hey, you can take him. Look, I love Jameis the entertainer, but it is without a shadow of a doubt now. He's like, I can work out of these interceptions. Like, Jameis, you cannot. You cannot work out of your interceptions.
Let me ask you a question. How much of the problems with Winston and previously Watson and now DTR, how much is them and how much is maybe the fact that maybe we all just thought this team, this organization was better, and they're just not?
I think the big problem is this. You took the play call and you took the offense away from Kevin Stefanski and made him change. He's a two-time coach of the year whose offense and the legacy of that offense under the Shanahan and Kubiak offense always works if you have the right personnel. Always works. You can look at Sam Darnold, who is a bum and now is a star under O'Connell, who's in the same system. Okay? You're telling me you can't, if you make Sam Darnold the star in that system, there's something special about it. They took that away from Stefanski. They gave it to Dorsey because they want everything to line up for Watson. Well, guess what? Watson's hot garbage. He's the worst. He's statistically the worst. Personally, he's the worst. He's the worst overall. So now you have to look at it this way. If you're the Browns, are you digging in your heels and saying, nope, we're going to go back and run it back again and try to get Deshaun Watson? Oh, coming off of an Achilles injury, by the way, or that style. Or here's a novel idea. Let your head coach, who's won two-time coach of the year, whose offense works, who's worked under Joe Flacco and won games with everybody not named Deshaun, or the same style as Deshaun, let him actually get a QB in that can do it. And that's why getting somebody, if Kirk Cousins gets let go by Atlanta and you can get him on the Russell Wilson cheap deal, like that minimum because Atlanta's paying him, I would do that in a second, Josh. If you bring him in medically and he can move, I would do that in a second because Stefanski worked with him in Minnesota as the offensive coordinator, and I think that's a perfect bridge guy.
Dude, there is no greater dichotomy of different human beings than Jameis Winston and Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
I mean, Kirk Cousins is, I am the salt of the earth. I love my family. I love Jesus. And, like, Deshaun Watson is none of that. Like, it is like, I mean, that is salt and that's oil and water.
It's totally different. But my point is this. Can you get the coach a guy that can run his system that works? And then you can get back to the running game, which was phenomenal. They took an offense, Josh, that was 10th or 11th last year and plummeted it to last or near last in every category. Why? So if they come back with that, I don't know what to tell you. But common sense, not a spreadsheet, analytics, common sense tells you go back to what actually works and that you have proven data that works. If they don't do it, then they're just stubborn and even dumber than I thought, which is pretty dumb. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Exactly. My friend, I got to let you go. I appreciate you jumping on. I always enjoy our conversations.
Love it.
Maybe next time we'll talk. We'll actually get to more than the Eagles and the Browns.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got caught up with our 93 hot talk. That's okay. Hey, R.I.P. Ricky Henderson. He was on the Blue Jays 93.
He was. He
R.I.P.
was on that team as well.
He didn't do anything, though. Wasn't good on that year. But.
We know what was weird with Ricky that year? He had a good regular season, but he did nothing in the postseason.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was dark in the postseason.
He had that, like, I think it was like August where he hit like 700 or something like that. Like, he had that 1 month where he was just like, holy, it's Ricky, you know?
Yeah. And then playoffs didn't. But the thing was, he was always a threat. I remember that. Always a threat.
Well, the guy in the playoffs that year was Paul Molitor. So.
Oh my gosh, give me Paul Molitor, John Allrood, Pat Borders. Let's go. I got my John Allrood rookie upper deck rookie card.
Of course you do.
It's worth $4 now. Went up to 14 the year he won the batting title in '93. Didn't sell high there, Josh.
Yeah,
where would I be now?
Sell high, buddy.
Where would I be now?
Your Baker Mayfield stuff is worth more than your John Allrood stuff.
Baker, 5 touchdowns. Hey, how about this quick stat on the way out? Baker Mayfield in one game yesterday, one game had more passing touchdowns than Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson combined this season.
That's the zinger.
That eats at my soul. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hopefully next year will be better for you, my friend.
Probably not, but good stuff. You and all the listeners, Happy New Year. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Sick podcast. Plug it real quick.
Yeah. We got a video out now with my picks for Monday Night Football. Got some sick picks for Monday Night Football, some parlay, my thoughts on the Browns ownership. And we're going to be live Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Get ready for the regular season finale. All the parlay party best bets, and we'll get kicking on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and on X at Sick Pod Browns, the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara.
At AndyMC81 as well on Twitter,
yes.
X. Appreciate it, my friend.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. See ya.
Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, before we get out of here, I'll give you guys a couple of picks because I will not be on the air tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. I like South Carolina to cover the 9.5 against Illinois tomorrow. And then in the college football playoff games, I like Penn State to win the game. I think that over-under 53.5 is too high, so give me the under. I think Texas beats Arizona State. I think Arizona State has trouble scoring in this game, to be honest with you guys. So if you guys can find the team totals out there for Arizona State, I do like Arizona State under 18.5. I don't see them scoring more than 18 points. I think the Texas defense is legit. And I think Notre Dame beats Georgia. I really do. So give me the plus 1.5 for Notre Dame. And I think Oregon beats Ohio State. So give me the plus 2.5 for Oregon. I'm Josh Hennig. Happy New Year, everybody. Catch you on the other side.
The college football playoff has arrived.
All right, for the YouTube-only crowd, you get the full explanation of the picks here on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. You guys can all join in on the success. So just do a quick review here. So the last time we gave out picks was Thursday. Of course, I took some personal time off Friday and Saturday, so that's why there were no shows live on the channel here. Hey, listen, guys, I'm a hardworking dude. I got to take some time off for myself at some point. I got to sleep. So what did we do over the last few days? So I gave you guys Army to cover the 17. They won in a landslide against Louisiana Tech. I'm still shocked that Colorado looked that bad against BYU. I feel like I missed the memo. Like, what happened in that game? I'm watching the game Saturday night, and I was confused as anything. I didn't even know what happened. That game perplexed me so much. The other game I got definitely wrong was Louisiana. They got trounced by TCU. Didn't see that coming at all. But what did we get right? Well, I told you Syracuse covered the 16.5, and Kyle McCord had a big game. He certainly did. UConn beat up on UNC. And I told you guys about the over for Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, and the over for Miami and Washington State. And, of course, Navy under covered the spread against Oklahoma. So, right now, at least in bowl season, we are 11-3-1. So, not a bad job. So, let's get to the rest of the picks. I mentioned for the college football playoff. So, let's do a big picture on the college football playoff and then a small picture. So, here's the deal. I genuinely do like this Penn State Boise State game. I don't think this is a throwaway game. I think this is going to be a fascinating contrast of teams. I don't think people appreciate the fact that Penn State and Boise State are two teams with some really great athletes. I know Ashton Gentry's gotten a lot of the pub this year, but that Boise State team is actually a pretty good team. And I think that them and Penn State are going to have a bit of a rock fight. That's why I think the 53.5 is way too high. I think Boise State's going to play keep away from Penn State's offense. And if Kobe Allard gets efficient, that's probably going to be an interesting game for Penn State. I think Penn State ultimately wins. I just don't think it'll be a crazy high-scoring game, as some of the odds makers are trying to say. I think Texas is going to have a close game with Arizona State to start, and then they pull away. I think Arizona State's going to try to make it a slow game with the running game, but I think ultimately Texas is the more talented team. They have the better athletes. They are the better team overall, and I think that's probably why I like the Arizona State under 18.5. I think Texas defense is going to suffocate them. If Texas defense can suffocate Georgia, they're certainly going to suffocate Arizona State, and you could argue the Texas Longhorns are the best defense left in college football. It's either them or Notre Dame. You pick and choose which one you like. Speaking of Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame beats Georgia outright. I think that Georgia going with the backup quarterback is going to be a huge problem. I know that Stockton is a very highly recruited prospect at quarterback, but I think Carson Beck showed what was good and bad about the Georgia offense this year, which is I think Georgia's offense has a lot of flaws. I think they have a lot of issues, and it got exposed in the Texas game. Notre Dame has now showed you that they have taken down Indiana. They have taken down Navy and Army offenses this year. Their defense has literally shut down some of the most high-powered offenses in college football this year. And now Georgia with a backup quarterback, and I expect Georgia to win? Absolutely not. And then finally, I know Ohio State and Oregon is a rematch. But I think the problem with this game is we have overlooked so much of Ohio State this year that the reason why they've been in so many games, the reason why Michigan was still a winnable game at the end is because of their defense. Ohio State's defense is elite. And I think that this Oregon-Ohio State game is going to be very close, but I think Oregon pulls it out. I think they got the better talent. They got the better coaching staff as well. No offense to the star-studded coaches of Ohio State, but it's the no-name coaches under Dan Lanning that I think have executed at a higher level this year. And I don't think Ohio State is going to be able to put up the points that Penn State did against Oregon. The over-under is not a number I play with. I go with Oregon, the cover, the 2.5. So I think it's going to be Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, and Penn State that win out in the college football playoff tomorrow. All right? So, of course, you can hear all that action on 97.3 ESPN. For the NFL game tonight, I'll give you that pick real quick. I did give you the Eagles to cover the spread last week. They did cover that spread, so gave that to you as a winner. What did I get wrong here? The Baltimore-Houston game, I don't even know what happened in that game. I really don't. I thought that game was going to be a high-scoring game, and Baltimore's defense completely destroyed Houston. Something's wrong with Houston's offense. It's almost like whatever Slovic, the offense coordinator, did in year one is not working in year two. And you got to wonder, is it the offensive line? Is it the play calling? I don't know what it is, but something's wrong with the Houston Texans. I also got wrong the Geno Smith passing yards. Look, that was the ugliest game of all time. That was the ugliest game of the season. I did give you the Chiefs and Steelers under on Christmas Day. And what was the other game I gave you? Got to scroll through my notes here. It's all on my phone. This is the problem with technology now. We save everything on our phones. We can't remember it up in our heads anymore. It's like an old guy. Me and Eddie back there are just screaming at the clouds. Let's see. What was the other number I had? Oh, here it is. I had the under in the New Orleans Raiders game. Yeah, like we all predicted that was going to happen. Not. I also have Mike Evans, another anytime touchdown. Look, Mike Evans has become a touchdown machine. Not because I'm playing him in fantasy football, but because I feel like He just gets a touchdown every week now. So for the game tonight, so apparently part of the reason why, and I don't know how much this has been reported out there. I've been so focused on producing for the guys filling in for Mike Gill today on 97.3 ESPN. I don't know how much has been reported, but apparently Jared Goff needs more numbers in order to hit incentives. So I'm going to go down to the props list here. All right. Props. Half the reason why guys play in these games, because they're trying to hit their incentive numbers and make some more money. So the passing prop for Goff, yeah, give me the over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Apparently he needs some more passing touchdowns to hit his incentives. All right? So those are the numbers I like. Those are the explanations for them. Again, there'll be no live shows on 97.3 ESPN on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I don't know if I'll have time to jump on the YouTube in the next coming days, but I know we will be back full throttle, business as usual, starting January 2nd. So if I don't get a chance to talk to you guys here on my YouTube channel, at Josh Hennig, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Happy New Year. Be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I've told you guys before, those of you who support me here on the YouTube channel, I genuinely appreciate all of you who watch, tune in, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. I would always love to do more here on the YouTube channel, but obviously, what pays the bills is, there it is, the radio job. So it's one of those deals where you gotta pay the bills, and until the day comes that this can be what pays the bills, then my attention has to go to the job that pays the bills first. So take care, everyone. Be safe. Happy New Year. And I'll catch you, as of right now, on the other side in 2025.